Yama, and welcome to Lessons with David. This is my new book entitled Sheer Bloody Hell. It's based on a poem by Albert J. Pullen and is written by myself. The ISBN number 9780646733340, and it's copyrighted by Lessons with David 2026. This book is about my great uncle, Walter James Stafford, and his inscription in the cenotaph at Gunnedah raised a number of questions. When we were there at Anzac Day, people didn't actually know about our Uncle Jim, so I decided to write a book. Now, this book is a historical fiction, and it's a short novel. So this novel brings to light the overlooked history of the Stafford brothers of Gunnedah and Boggabri, Walter James and Edgar George Stafford. Whilst the Staffords from Binnaway, town just further south, Charles, Clyde and John, have received recognition in published works and through contributions at the Australian War Memorial and the Australian Institute of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies. Their cousins from Gunnedah branch of the family, who later moved to Tamworth, have remained largely unknown. Tracing the Darug bloodline is a complex journey, especially given the challenges of maternal genealogy, remarriages and changing surnames. The family's connection to Burrabidee Mission adds another layer of difficulty, as government policies have affected both the records of the lives of those involved. For example, the absence of a father's name on Walter James Stafford's birth certificate has led to speculation about his parentage and Aboriginal heritage. Despite this uncertainty, the Australian War Memorial has accepted research by Joy Pickett and the DPS Local and Family History Group in Coonabarabran for a last post ceremony in 2017, as well as for broader research into Aboriginal soldiers from the Liverpool Plains. Further research was prompted by family members who questioned the Tamworth branch's connection, as well as my father's poem, which draws on the oral history passed down from my great-grandmother Ethel May Stafford to my grandmother Olga Mel Pullen. In 2024, the Australian War Memorial undertook additional investigation. It was discovered that Edward George Stafford had enlisted under the alias Joseph Smith, naming my great-grandmother as the next of kin, a detail now recognised by ATIS. It was common at the time for men to use their middle names, as was the case with Walter James and Edward George. They were known in my family as Uncle Jim and Uncle George. This matches the cenotaph in Gunnedah, which records Stafford J and aligns with my father's memories of staying at Uncle George in Newcastle during a Scouts Jamboree. It is important to note that this book that I've written, Sheer Bloody Hell, is a work of historical fiction. It is not intended to be a definitive genealogical study. I haven't embarked on that, or a revision of war history. I have made every attempt to reflect the research of both Joy Pickett from Coonabarabran and also Malia Hampton from the Australian War Memorial, blending factual elements into the narrative without causing further controversy. In many ways, I see this book as the black version of Saving Private Ryan, the film, and a tribute to the resilience of the Darug people. This work is dedicated to Gomeroi elder Uncle Neville Sampson, who passed away on the 28th of May 2025. Uncle Neville worked alongside my father on the New South Wales Railways at Binnaway and was affectionately known as Coffee. Whenever you visited his favourite coffee shop in West Tamworth, you could be greeted with Yama Uncle, and he would instantly recognise you and your family's connection. He was a true elder, wise, generous, and was at home with mob, as well as famous artists from the Country Music Festival, where he did the local Welcome to Country. according to Uncle Coffee, everyone belonged to his mob. And with that, I read the preface of the book that I've published. I'll read the poem for you just to put the book in context, and I'll give you the details on how to buy the book. A Digger's Hell by Albert Pullen. Uncle had kept me at bay. Though he had much to tell about the war, he would only say it was sheer bloody hell. He never would elaborate. I never asked him why, as it was wrong to interrogate, was not for me to pry. But I found out so much more when I asked my mother. She said, when at First World War he had lost his brother. Mum said it was the first campaign our uncles went to war, where many brave men were slain. That was the hell he saw. At the start, with charge in motion, his brother was with him, but during the commotion he had lost sight of him. He had hoped to find him alive, but it was all in vain. His brother Jim did not survive. He fell among the slain. The Turks were well prepared. They picked him off at will, and why some died whilst others spared, our diggers question still. And from all accounts was doomed from the very first day. And although men left the war behind, tormented minds would stay. To this day, 'twas never mentioned that accounts were different on his venture. Uncle Jim, in pursuit of George, had no idea he'd entered the battle Somme. His grave attests his letter dear to brother George he fought was gone. In the dawn of splendid manhood, when tide of his youth ran high, with courage and his hope in his bearing, he waved us his last goodbye. A fitting epitaph, too long to print, his grave in Bois Grenier in France alone the blacksmith is. You can purchase our book, including the poem, by emailing lessonswithdavid as one word in lowercase at outlook.com. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure presenting this preface and poem to you.